Well, a very good afternoon, everybody, and happy Tuesday. I hope your day is going well. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and travelprofessionalnews.com, I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar and thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. I know you'll be happy you did. Our host today is the Scenic Group, and our speaker is Tom Van Dorn, Business Development Manager, Midwest. Tom is a Chicago native and a 30-year veteran of the travel industry with an extensive background in airline, tour operator, and river cruise sales management. Tom joined Scenic 4 years ago as Business Development Manager Midwest and covers several states from his home office in the Chicago area. Tom's topic today is Learn All About the Scenic Group Brands. Before we get started, please remember that you are all muted, but we welcome your questions. You can type in your questions at any time in the question area you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. At the end of Tom's presentation, we'll get to as many questions as we can. So let's get right to all of this exciting information about the Scenic Group. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for joining me today. I really do appreciate your time. I know you're very busy, and I tried to make good use of it. I jam-packed this thing with as much information as I thought would be helpful to you, and I'm going to go right into it. Just to let you know, I'm based in the Chicago area. I've got 10 states. We've got, I think, 7 BDMs across the country. We're all looking very much forward to working with you. So if you do go to our website, I'll mention the site later. Please don't hesitate. Our names are on there. Our contact details are on there as well. So please feel free to reach out to them at any time for anything, and they'll be more than happy to help you. And I will be too. So getting into Scenic, Scenic is, if you're, and many of you I'm sure are not that familiar with who Scenic is. And part of that is because we've only been in the US about not even 5 years. And we're also not preferred with any consortia other than West on the West Coast. So because of that, a lot of agents, they know a little bit about us, but not as much as we'd like them to. So I appreciate your time and to give me an opportunity to tell you a little bit about us. We are a 32-year-old company. That's a picture of Glenn Maroney. He's an Australian, so we're an Australian-based company. And that's a nice thing, by the way, because as you probably know from your travels, traveling with the Aussies and Kiwis is a great thing. And on any particular sailing, the makeup of our guests could be 20 to 25 or up 20 to 50% could be Australians and Kiwis from New Zealand. 20 to 25% could be Americans and Canadians. That American contingent is growing the longer we're here, of course, and then the balance would be Brits. So everything's only in English. And in Emerald Waterways, I'll cover that later in the presentation. Scenic actually started, the first ship was built in 2008. And Glenn's wife, Karen, is the interior designer. So from the time they started this, the river cruise aspect of it, they knew they wanted to be a 5-star luxury, end all be all inclusive, you name it, top of the line river cruise company, and that's really what it's become. And then in 2014, Emerald Waterways was launched, and that makes it the newest, youngest river cruise line on the waters in Europe today. Glenn I've been with him a number of times. He's a true entrepreneur. This is one of his innovations. The Scenic Sun Lounges. We've got 2 full decks on every ship of these Scenic Sun Lounges. As you can see, if you're in the cabin looking out, you would open these double pane windows here, these panes of glass like an accordion, and you can't see it, but there's a button on the wall right about here that will allow your guests to raise the outside double pane window up or down, and they could close the windows behind them if they like, this glass behind them. So they're beautiful. They're Scenic Sun Lounges, and I know a lot of our competitors are starting to put them on their newer ships, but he was the first. And this is another innovation. This is another first, I should say, with Scenic and Emerald Waterways. The river cruising guarantee is, I'm sure most of you know by now, the water levels, the low water levels in Europe have really been something to contend with. It's been a real problem for many of us. But this river cruising guarantee is unique. It's included in the cost of your clients' bookings, both Scenic and Emerald. It's not insurance as such, so your guests, your clients still need to purchase travel insurance, you know, for medical, baggage loss, that kind of thing. This is really a peace of mind. And again, it's included. And the way it works is if anything disrupts your client's sailing, other than terrorist activities, that does not apply. But water level issues, mechanical breakdowns, anything like that, strikes, then we assess it. We assess that particular sailing. And we look at all sides of it. If we can't get there are caveats. If we can't get your client coached to the next port within a certain amount of time, or we can't get to the next excursion in a certain amount of time, we will declare that particular sailing a river cruising guarantee sailing. And the best part about it, and this is what's the peace of mind, is you can let your clients know that if they're booking with us, it's automatic, but they will be refunded for the portion that they couldn't do in either cash or on their credit card, the form of payment that they made. In other words, we aren't going to give them a voucher for future travel because, as you know, many people, that's the last thing in the world they want to do. So we handle this in a very nice way. And honestly, I can tell you from my own experience, this past season, agents have found this to be a godsend. They're very happy to have it and know that their clients are actually getting something back in the form of payment that they made. So that's included. It's in the back of our brochure if you want to read up on it. And I'll go right into Scenic. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit, getting into the product. Scenic is, I'm telling you, it's a stellar product. And incidentally, National Geographic named us their partner, National Geographic Expeditions. So if you've got anybody using National Geographic, sailing with them in Europe, that would be us, which is a big coup for us, again, because a lot of people don't know who we are. So that you can use that as some credibility for us. We have up to 15 ships now with Scenic. As you can see, they're on the Rhine, Main, and Danube, and major rivers of France. Portugal, I'll talk about that one in a minute. Russia, we don't own that ship. Glenn owns all the other ships, and he owns the Emerald ships too. That particular ship in Russia, you can't own it because you can't own anything in Russia. So it's not a spaceship like all the others, and they're called spaceships because on average the public spaces are larger, the cabins are larger because of the way Glenn and his wife designed them to be. Right now on the Rhine, Main, and Danube, the ships hold up to 169. Next year that's dropping to 165, and I'll tell you why in a little bit, talking about some of the cabin sizes. And just about all the ships with our competitors, by the way, are about 43 feet wide and up to 40 feet long. And this is the reason why, that they have to get through these docks. So our crew to guest ratio with Scenic on the Rhine, Main, and Danube is 1-3, about as good as it can get. I'll talk about some of the other areas. It's even better. You don't need to study this, but what this slide is basically saying is that we are uniquely 100% all-inclusive, and that's the number one reason clients choose Scenic, is because we are totally inclusive. And when I say that, I mean all tips, gratuities, port charges, all excursions. There's no excursions that are optional that they can pay for. Just everything. In fact, just absolutely everything. In fact, the only thing a client can actually pay for on the ship would be something like a massage or a hair cut or something like that, or a gift shop item, something personal. Other than that, they don't have to reach into their pockets for absolutely anything. And please keep in mind when you're talking to clients and comparing one to the other, first of all, that not all river cruises are the same. We're all a little bit different, and we're all great. River cruises across the board are great, by the way. And I've been on Uniworld. I've been all over on Ama Sonata, one of their newer ships, and Viking too. And they're all very impressive. They're all very nice. But we're not all the same, and what we offer is different. But keep in mind, too, to let them know, it's not what you pay to get on that matters. It's what you pay to get off. And in our case, 95% of our guests roughly exit the ship, leave without ever getting any kind of a bill at all, because we didn't ask for their credit card when they got on the ship, because there's nothing they can pay for. And that's a huge deal. So please keep that in mind. That's number one with the little pillars of Scenic. Getting into the onboard experience, just please take my word for it, or hopefully we'll get you on board one of these days soon. The ships are stunning. They're very modern, contemporary. The crew is primarily Eastern European. Of course, they all speak fluent English. And incidentally, our first ship was built in 2008. The ones built from 2008 to 2013 have been refurbished and brought to the 2013 level. And then we've added a few after that, but they're all virtually identical on the Rhine, Main, and Danube, 95% the same. So you don't need to be concerned if it's an older or newer ship. I won't get into all the different dining and all the aspects of onboard service. Our crystal dining is the main dining room. Very much like this picture here, it's floor-to-ceiling windows both sides. Nothing divides the ship. They're very open and spacious. This river cafe is if somebody doesn't want to go to the crystal dining room. By the way, our dinner is a 4-course. In the main dining room, it's 4-course. There's always the menu for other things, staples like chicken and beef, etc. We've got a cart with 6 reds, 6 whites on it. The wine is fabulous. But if they don't want to go there, they can come down to the River Cafe. And as you can see, it's a man station in the morning. It's pastries, lighter breakfast fare. And then after that, it's soups, salads, wraps. There's a pizza menu, burgers. Really, really cool. There's a healthy station, a tea station. People just love it. And if your clients don't want to do that, they can ask for a picnic box, and we're more than happy to make one of those for them. The service on board Scenic and Emerald, by the way, is very much like a Four Seasons hotel. It's at that level. So if you spend any time in Four Seasons hotel, that's very much what it's like. And I tell you, I get rave compliments from travel agents all the time. Many of them, they're sharing comments from their clients. Portobello's is our Italian restaurant. It holds only 32. It's up at the front of the ship. It's gorgeous. It's called Namur in France. It's open to everybody on the ship. It's a 5-course meal, 5 wine pairing. People absolutely love it. Just make a reservation on the ship. And Table Rive, this is the only thing that's really unique to the people at the top deck, the diamond deck, or the top suites on the sapphire deck, the junior suites. And that's our chef's table that only holds 10 guests, as you see here. It's a separate area of the main dining room, but it's absolutely fabulous. It takes roughly 2 hours. It's a 6-course, 6 wine pairing. People absolutely love it. So it's a really nice perk for selling up into the cabins. Scenic Culinaire, we started this last year. It's like a little cooking school. It's just a free choice, a scenic free choice. Those are our excursions or choices. It's basically, we built a little cooking school in here, cooking stations, overhead camera, a cheese and wine cellar here, and the chef will just teach your guests how to make some of the creations that he's making on board. People absolutely love it. In fact, it's so popular in France that we're adding it next year to the Rhine, Main, and Danube as well. All cabins have a butler assigned to them, and they do double duty, so it's not like your clients will have a butler standing outside the whole time. But I'm telling you, when somebody tells you that I don't have a butler, I'm not used to a butler, just remember it will take them a half a day to get used to having their butler. And people rave about them all the time. They're fabulous. And incidentally, when I said to all liquor, I think I might have said all liquor is complimentary. I've had one agent told me not long ago who'd been on our ship, and she was a specialist, had been on everybody. She said, did you know that your liquor list is probably 5 times longer than any other river cruise company? And I can tell you this, that Glenn told me one time, when you get the Johnny Walker Blue Label or a 150-year-old bottle of French champagne, that would be extra, but everything else is included. The same agent told me, by the way, did you know you have 14 electrical outlets in your Royal Panorama suite? So it's these little touches. I had an agent tell me that, it doesn't matter what the presentation looks like or what the brochure looks like. You really have to get agents, we need to get you on the ship, because there's so many different aspects of Scenic that make it really stand out, and probably what all the buzz is created that you're hearing. Getting into the balconies now, I didn't put the lowest deck, the jewel deck, because it's water level. So that has a rectangular window. Those are 160 square feet. And then you get up to the sapphire deck. These are 205 to 225 square feet. Absolutely stunning. And again, you can see the Scenic Sun Lounge. You just open these panes of glass here, step out, and you can raise this outside double pane window. Every cabin is individually climate controlled. They're really beautiful. And then you get up to the top of the line. There's other cabins in the middle. This is the top of the line in the Royal Panorama Suite and the Rhine, Main, and Danube. It's $475. Currently in France, in Bordeaux in southern France, we've got the Royal Owners Suite there, and they're 510 square feet. Next year, we're adding these to the Rhine, Main, and Danube as well. That's why we're dropping from 169 guests to 165. And there on the Rhine, Main, and Danube, the Royal Owners Suite will be 520 square feet. Absolutely stunning. The bathrooms, I put this in here because people compliment about our bathrooms all the time. When you get to a certain level, they've got the tub and the shower. Even the shower heads in all the suites, by the way. They've even got the mood light in them, and your guests can change the color of the shower head light coming down if they like. Just all these little touches really make it special. And I didn't put much on the Mekong or the Southeast Asia. We've got a fabulous product there, by the way. If you've got anybody looking for the top of the line, without question, I can honestly tell you, if you've got somebody looking to do the Mekong or the Irrawaddy, we are it. And this is just one of the largest cabin on the Mekong. As you can see, it's a 68 passenger ship, by the way. And the 2 largest cabins are 861 square feet. You can't see it, but outside this window, there's a 300 square foot deck with a jacuzzi here, truly over the top. All cabins, by the way, have complimentary laundry included. We give every cabin a bag. They can put as much in it as they like. We basically say it holds a little over 2 pounds, but of course it depends on what you load it with. But we'll do that complimentary any day that they want of the sailing. So if they did a pre-tour, we do a lot of pre and post extensions, of course. But if they wanted it done the first day or the last day, we'll do it whenever they like. These salt rooms are really cool. Currently they're in southern France in Bordeaux. They're really very therapeutic. As you can see, these beds are in there. There are 3 of these beds. The floor is covered with salt, and they're really just meant to be very, very therapeutic, like your clients would be standing on the seashore. They're open during the day. You just use them at your leisure. And in fact, again, they're so popular that we're adding those also to the Rhine, Main, and Danube ships next year, 2019. I've been doing this a long time, as you heard, and this is one of the coolest things I've ever done in all my time in travel. These e-bikes for electric assisted, we've got that size, and then the larger 36-inch. And you see on the handlebar here, this little box, it operates a silent motor. So your guests have to know how to ride a bike, but if they do, these things are incredible. I did this. We have a Milk to Dürnstein, a 20-mile excursion. It's escorted in the Wachau Valley in Austria. Absolutely stunning. I took this picture in October, and you're going through these incredibly beautiful vineyards, these really neat little towns. And I'm telling you, with that electric bike, which basically does the pedaling, I wouldn't have done it, but it's a fabulous opportunity for your clients. People love that. And this is right up there with that too. The tailor-made device, you know, the whisper piece, the earplug that you put in your ear on a tour. Well, ours is unique. We've got a patent on it. That number is over 800 now. It's got over 800 points of interest programmed into it and over 240 tours. There are 2 in a docking station in every cabin, so every guest gets one. And it looks just like an iPhone, and it's just like having Siri in your hand. So you could be sitting either on the sun deck like this or out on your balcony. And if you've got that piece in your ear, it will just automatically tell you what you're looking at, like this fortress up here. It's really, really cool. And then you can look at it, punch in history, culture, cuisine, currency, anything you want to know about where you are. If you're on a bike, the map pops up, it knows where you are. The map rotates so you can find the ship. It's a really, really cool thing. That's another unique thing. And then this is another special thing too, that again, as I mentioned, all excursions are included, but we offer 2 to, in some cases, 5 or 6 excursions at every port, usually 2 to 4. They're all, if guests can do as many as they like, they'll hear about them in a port talk by the cruise director at 6 o'clock every evening. They'll make their choice, but if they change their mind, no problem. When you go to our trip personalizer or call in to make a booking, some of them have to be done at the time that you make the booking, just because for planning purposes. This is one of our most popular, shopping with the chef. We do them all over the place, Budapest, Paris, a number of cities. It's one of the most popular. This is capacity controlled. It usually holds about 5 or 6. So if you've got guests, clients who want to do this, please grab it when you can, and they'll be very happy that you did. And then we've got some excursions that are full days, like a Český Krumlov, which I loved. I would certainly encourage anybody to do that. Or alternatively, if they don't want to go there, they can do the full day to Salzburg in Austria, which is, you know, equally awesome, as you probably know. Anything like that that includes a full day. Of course, we do a really nice luncheon at a very nice restaurant, wine included. As you can imagine, there's no expense spared with anything with Scenic. It's really a quality product from beginning to end. And this, nowhere will this show up more than in this. Scenic Enrich is a private, exclusive excursion that we do once on a 1-week itinerary, up to 4 times on a 2-week. The one I did, which was absolutely over the top, was the Palais Liechtenstein, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's got the 2nd largest private art collection in the world after the Queen. So it's open every day like a museum, but on the day we go there, it's just 169 of us. You get a little bit dolled up if you want to. By the way, when it comes to dress code, some gentlemen would maybe want to wear a coat for something, a sport coat for something like this. Nobody wears a tie. Keep in mind we're Australian, no worries, she'll be right, mate. Everything's leisure, casual. Ladies would like to, maybe have a dress on for something like this, captain's dinner, that kind of thing, but they're not required. But when you go to the Palais Liechtenstein, then we have a private champagne reception. Browsed around for about 40 minutes, taking in the incredible sights, and then had our own private concert. You can see this little chamber orchestra, 2 ballet dancers, 2 opera singers, really, really cool stuff. It will be a highlight of anybody's trip. And then you can imagine being the Pope's Palace in Avignon, these incredible facilities where it's just us, just 169. And by the way, we own our own coaches. I think we own 14. They're brand spanking new, state-of-the-art. Your guests will always have the same driver, which is a nice plus too. So again, that's included, same, no extra cost. A couple of sailings I just wanted to point out to you too. If you've got clients interested in doing Normandy, I know a number of the river cruise lines do it, but we do this in a kind of a unique way. Glenn didn't want everybody to have to disembark like most of our competitors do in Rouen. You sail out of Paris, you disembark in Rouen, and then take a coach to Normandy. So he built a smaller ship. It's called the Scenic Gem, and it holds only 128 people. And I'm telling you, it is absolutely stunning. The two largest cabins are 455 square feet. It was built to specifically navigate all the way the waterways to Honfleur, which is an incredibly charming city. People love that. And as you know, a lot of elderly people might want to go to Normandy because of the war sites, etc. And that knocks off about close to an hour and a half coach ride in each direction. So please keep that one in mind. And another one is Portugal. This is one of our most popular itineraries right now. I think it's going to be huge, actually. It's growing tremendously. In and out of Porto, what's unique about this with us is that we own our ship. All the other companies, their ships are built in Portugal and owned by that company. So they all look identical except cosmetically. And because they don't own the ships, they all do the same excursions, but not us. We own our ship. Nobody knows how Glenn did it, but he told me one day nobody would have put up the fight, the time, and the money. But he said, no one's controlling my ship. So he owns it. And because of that, we built our own docks. We built our own dock on the right side of the river here in Porto. So it's a short walk into the city center. We do other excursions that no one else can do. And of course, it goes across to Salamanca. So please keep us in mind for Portugal. And this year in April, we launched Egypt and Jordan. And I'm telling you, if you've got clients who want to do the Nile in style, you've come to the right place. Look at this. This is a little Sanctuary Sunboat 3. It holds only 36 guests. And I just put just one picture on it. That's actually the ship. So again, you know better than I do. You've got a lot of clients that just say, give me the biggest, give me the best. This is where I want to go. And uniquely, in many, many cases, that would be Scenic. All I ever ask anybody, we're not preferred, so I know probably you might have to be bucking the system if you're not an IC in some cases, but I'm not proud. My counterparts aren't proud. If you can't find what you're looking for, or you feel that Scenic would be the right fit with the all-inclusive, so please just keep us in mind. Emerald is an awesome product. Please don't think that anything I'm saying would make Emerald look like a Scenic Light. It is, as I mentioned, it's the newest river cruise company in Europe. It just won the Cruise Critic Award for the third year in a row as the best value of any river cruise company. Keep in mind, it includes tips, gratuities as well. The biggest difference between Emerald and Scenic when it comes to that is that it's just not as all-inclusive. It's still like a 4-star service. Their ships are incredible, but it's beer, wine, and soft drinks are included at lunch and dinner. You can buy additional drinks and packages if you like, and one excursion per port. And of course, they can buy additional ones as well. So that's the main difference between the two. So if you've got clients who might be a little more price sensitive, or just maybe they don't care about the all-inclusive, maybe they don't drink and want to feel like they're buying other people's drinks, please keep Emerald in mind. They will absolutely love it. We have 7 ships currently. They're all over the Rhine, Main, and Danube, one in France, southern France, and one in Portugal. That one we own as well. And then next year, we're adding the newest ship to our fleet. They're all called starships, by the way, because they're filled with chrome, glass, mirrors, sunlight. Think W Hotel. They're very sleek and modern, really, really cool. This one is going to sail on the Mekong, and I've got this picture up here because it's actually going to sail right into downtown Ho Chi Minh City. It holds only 84 people, a stellar, stunning ship. So please keep that in mind. We're, again, as I might have mentioned, we're all over the same rivers as most of our competitors and Scenic, Rhine, Main, and Moselle, etc. Reflections is the main dining room, and again, like Scenic, the floor-to-ceiling windows, nothing divides the ship. Absolutely incredible. People will absolutely love it. Breakfast and breakfast and lunch for both brands are buffets, really nice buffets, and I'm telling you, the food is great. Especially the desserts, unbelievable. And then you get to the terrace, is the lighter restaurant. This is up at the front of the ship for lighter fare. It's beautiful. As you can see, you can kind of get an idea from this. By the way, when you go to our website for Emerald or Scenic, there's a lot of 360s, a lot of cool images that'll help you too with that. The terrace, of course, is for lighter breakfasts, cafe style. And of course, you can take it right up to the sun deck if you like too. Getting into the balconies, the cabins again, the lowest deck again is water level, so it too has a rectangular window. Those are 162 square feet. And then you get up to the middle deck. These are all 180 square feet right across there, and this is where most people would be. And as you can see here, the cabin, the balcony is inside, so you just don't walk through those panes of glass, but there is a button on the wall so you can raise the outside double pane window up or down. They're really, really nice and very spacious too compared to others. And then this is the top of the line. If you've got clients who, like I said, are maybe they very high end, but they don't, don't really care about the all-inclusive, keep this in mind. This is a separate bedroom area, full balcony suite. This is like a scenic sun lounge. You do walk through the panes of glass. It's really beautiful. So again, and there's, complimentary iPad and usage, room service included when you get to the upper levels on Emerald as well. Emerald Active, because it's a little bit younger, and it's about 25 to 30% lower generally in price than Scenic, because it's not as all-inclusive. It's a little more active. By the way, Scenic age bracket is basically baby boomers, 55 on up. Gets a little bit younger. We get all ages for all brands, but that's a rule of thumb. Emerald, of course, being a little bit younger, would be anywhere from 40, 45-ish on up too. And it's got active itineraries. Would be more on the biking and hiking. I took this in Dernstein, which if you're doing the Danube, you're going to go here. And I'm telling you, it's a really cool little place. And you can see the castle up here. So it is a little bit of a hike, but it's, again, it's for the active people. And then we've Emerald Plus. These are aspects of our current excursions that are included that would really help to immerse your clients in the culture, like going to a Slovakian family's home for some, afternoon tea and little cookies, etc. People really love it. Or going to the Keukenhof Gardens in Amsterdam, just something that's over the top, glass blowing demonstration. People love it. Honestly, I can tell you right now, if you haven't and you do put clients on Emerald, they're going to come back raving about it and do it again. Discover more. These are the excursions that are optional that they can pay for if they want to. But again, keep in mind, as a 30-year-old company, parent company, Scenic, we're on 7 continents. We're a big, big enterprise. We have got the excursions down to a science. In fact, Scenic last year, the year before, won the Cruise Critic Award as the best excursions of any river cruise company. So we've got it down. Our guides work for us. So you can rest assured they're going to have a great time. Of all the innovations in a river cruise company and a river cruise line in Europe today, this has got to be one of the coolest. This pool. It's at the very back of the ship. As you can see, it can hold about 30 people sitting around it. You can't see it over here. There's a bar, and there's a coffee maker over here too. And it's a heated pool with a retractable roof. So in the evening, of course, the stars are the sky. But what's really cool about it, and select evenings, the bottom of the pool raises up and the water goes down the sides, and it converts into a 30-seat movie theater. And they actually show current movies there. You can see this little bucket of popcorn. They really do serve popcorn in there. And it's certain in the evening, like this time of year when you're there, it's warm because it's a heated pool. So a lot of people just hang out there, the stunning scenery, it's just in the bars there, etc. Just a really cool atmosphere. And we do a ton of groups, by the way, with Scenic and Emerald. I was going to mention the groups later, but this pool comes really in very handy for, private excursions, etc. Different things they want to do on the ship, I mean. And this is something starting next year. We're going to, as you probably know better than I do, Croatia is gaining an incredible popularity. And we're going to be chartering an 8-day sailing from Split to Dubrovnik, both directions, on the Dalmatian coast. A little ship, it's the Adriatic Princess 3, holds only 36 people. So again, keep that in mind. It's going to start next April through October of next year. And it's already very, very popular, as you can imagine, selling quite well. Incidentally, it's selling from all over the world. We have an office in Australia, of course. We've got one in the UK. Our office is in Boston. It's a sales and res office, and we've got one in Vancouver as well. So if your call goes to Boston, it will roll over to Vancouver in later hours. And then we've also got a big part of the operation in Zug, Switzerland, because Glenn, the owner, is on and off the ships. He owns these, so he pays close attention. And very quickly, the big granddaddy of all this is the biggest thing going on with Scenic right now is the Scenic Eclipse. And if you're not familiar with it, this little ship that you see here, it's being built as we speak. And it's going to start sailing in January of 2019, coming up very shortly. It's a couple stats on it. It's going to hold 228 people. The crew to guest ratio is about 1-to-1. It's going to sail basically all over the world. It's built primarily for the polar region, so it's got the highest polar ice class, but there are a lot of aspects about this ship that are, it's a 6-star plus ship. Take my word for it. If you please would do this, go to our website, when you have a second, or go to YouTube. There's some really cool videos on this thing, and I believe you'll find those to be some of the coolest promotional videos of any product you'll see. We've got 2 7-seat helicopters on this, a 7-seat submarine. And when you look at the videos, the video will show the helicopter landing about 100 miles inland in Antarctica with emperor penguins walking around it, or the submarine going down. It can go down almost 1,000 feet, looking at shipwrecks and things like that. Truly over the top, this ship. So I put a bunch of images on here to talk about it because it's so cool. Again, it's going to start sailing in January. The lobby bar, so it's got 10 restaurants, 8 bars. I mentioned the 2 helicopters and the submarine. It's got a nearly 6,000 square foot spa and Pilates studio, nearly 240-seat theater in the round, a custom-built fleet of 14 Zodiacs and kayaks, and the Zodiacs actually have seats built into them. I mean, this thing is going to be revolutionary. It's going to sail, by the way. It's going to start in Antarctica. It's going to wind up doing, it'll do Europe, the Mediterranean. It'll do the British Isles in detail, but because it's so small and because it's got incredible technology, it doesn't even have to drop an anchor, to tell you the truth. It's got stabilizers that are over twice the size of a ship this size. It can do really cool little ports. It'll do combining Portugal and Ireland. It'll do Iceland and Greenland. Of course, both polar regions. It'll do the Panama Canal. It'll do Cuba in detail, South America, and of course, Antarctica. Incredible stuff. Elements is the main dining room. This holds about close to 100, I believe. It's seafood, steak, and Italian. As you can tell from these pictures, this thing is unbelievable. This is private dining, the chef's table. It holds only 8 seats. And by the way, all the dining venues are open to all guests. There are preferred seating depending where you are on the ship. And price-wise, by the way, people ask me this because they get the idea that it's for billionaires only, and it's not. It's already about 75% sold out, and it's from people of all walks of life. The pricing is very moderate. In fact, when you look at the brochure, if you're looking at the lowest level cabin, I'll show pictures of those, for at a pre-release pricing, you're looking at a special, you're looking at $3,000 to $4,000, not counting air. And of course, if you go to the other extreme, if you're up at the top suites, and I'll show you those too, on an extended itinerary, maybe a combining Chile and Antarctica, well, those would be over $100,000 per person. So, but again, people of all walks of life are buying it or using it. So please just put it out there as something unique. Many people just want bragging rights and something different to celebrate a wedding or a special occasion. Elements, again, just really stunning. Cocos, we've got a number of these. They basically hold anywhere from 10 to 20 guests. The teppanyaki as well. And again, all these itineraries, it just is what makes this so special, is where it's going to go. Le Maire, that's our French dining. This holds about 74 guests. Azure, this is basically lighter fare, the buffet. And the Scenic Epicure, this is basically our cooking emporium. It's a scenic free choice, just like anything else. By the way, the Eclipse is also all-inclusive. The only thing that's not included, as you can guess, is the helicopter, the submarine, and the scuba diving equipment. And those rates are being determined as we speak right now. So those would be extra. The Yacht Club, again, just incredible, 1 of 10 restaurants. And then the observatory and library. There's one repositioning of this ship that's going to go across the Atlantic. I had one agent tell me the other day he's going to book it just to get away from being able to work in a really, really awesome environment. This is the smallest of the cabins. They're 45 square feet private veranda suites. That's the smallest. And then they go up to in the 500s, the spa suites. And this is a state-of-the-art jacuzzi right here, by the way, Philip Stark. And then just another shot of those two. Stunning. And then they go up to the 1100 range, the panorama suites. And again, I had to take so many pictures out of this to squeeze in my time. But please go to our website or go to YouTube and look at some of the videos. And then you got up to in the 2000 range. This is the owner's penthouse suite. And I put a few shots of this. And you can combine one of these owner's penthouse suites with one of those spa suites I showed you. So the top of the line is a 2,659 square foot cabin. And, there's separate dining areas there, in room, dinner, etc. Everything you can imagine. Nearly 6,000 square foot spa and Pilates studio. Again, just want to give you a flavor of what this thing is looking like. And the yoga room. And this is the first on a ship, an infrared sauna. and a 240-seat theater in the round. I can only imagine what some of that entertainment will be. And of course, we've got our discovery teams on there, specialists that know everything about these incredible destinations. And even this little ship, because of its navigational abilities, it can go much further into Antarctica than others, or you can take the helicopter, of course. The helicopter is for sightseeing. It'll take you 100 miles inland in Antarctica, flying over Mount Etna, really cool things. Actually, there's a total of 4 brochures that go with this particular ship. One is the general one, and then one for the Antarctica, the polar regions, one for the Europe and the Americas, just all about the excursions, etc. It's really, really cool stuff. And unfortunately, we've got to get back to reality here now before I wrap this up. Please do go to our websites if you have not yet, scenicusa.com or emeraldwaterways.com. When you do go to the sites, you'll see up in the upper left the words Agent Portal. When you click on that, it brings you actually into the site. And there you'll see a little box for the specialist courses. Please click on that box. When you do, it'll bring you to a page where both the Scenic and the Emerald courses are shown. And if you're thinking of making a booking anytime soon, please pass the course first. Because if you pass the course, say the Scenic course first, and then make a booking within 6 months of passing the course, you'll get an extra $200 booking bonus. For Emerald's course, it would be a $100 booking bonus. Great information, by the way, and they'll take you roughly an hour at the most. And again, you'll find a lot of things in here. As I mentioned, the BDM contacts are in there with a map showing where we're all located, so who would be responsible for your area. Just a lot of things, too. So please take a look at that. Keep us in mind for groups. We wheel and deal in the groups, and I'm telling you, 5 cabins is a group, so only 10 people. And we've got, honestly, so many specials. In some cases right now, we've got an offer that two are conducted for 10 people. So, we're looking at, like everybody else, we're all scrambling for the same piece of business, but I'm telling you, we are great with groups. We've got an awesome group department. We've just added more staff to it. So again, please just reach out to your BDM or just reach out to the group department, and they'll be more than happy to work with you. We do, my counterparts and I do a lot of cruise nights. We can help you with flyers, promotional ability, that aspects of it as well. So we want it to be as successful as you do. So keep us in mind. And if you haven't seen our documents yet, they're awesome. This picture doesn't nearly do it justice. We've upgraded the backpacks. For both brands, you get 2 backpacks. For Scenic and Emerald, they're awesome, and your clients will definitely use them because they're very handy there. Of course, they're paper documents. From the time your clients get the documents, I guarantee you they're going to know that you booked them with a very quality company. That's what it's all about. And then promotions. We have promotions running all the time. And the Scenic one, they can either take a pre or post extension, complimentary, or if they don't want to do that, they can fly free on certain sailings or take a credit if they didn't want to do that. They want to do their air on their own. The Eclipse also has specials going on all the time. There's early payment. If they pay by the end of October, again, they'll save more as well. Same thing with Emerald, incredible deals. So I don't want to take the time. Keep in mind, though, when it comes to our specials, they're very inventory controlled and time sensitive. It's like an airline ticket. So if you've got a client that's on the fence, please move them along the fence because it may not be there when they go to look for it. And unfortunately, they're for new bookings and usually only. So that's really it. I can't thank you enough. I know your time is valuable, and I really appreciate you joining me today. I know I was talking fast, and I apologize for that. But again, I just wanted to cover as much ground as I possibly could. And with that, I'd be more than happy to take any questions you might have, and I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Thanks, Tom. That was fantastic. And I don't think you talk fast because I'm from New York originally. So you were talking just normally for me, but I appreciate that you got in so much information that all of those brands in the Scenic Group look fantastic. We do have some questions, so let's get to those now. If a sailing is not on any kind of special, can you also include air? And is the air commissionable?
Yes, first answer, yes, we have an awesome air department, by the way. So if you, in fact, I'm glad that's a very good question. Thanks for asking that. I should have mentioned myself. Yes, we have a great air department, and so we can, work with you on the air as well. Air is not commissionable though, but when it comes to the transfers, even if we don't, we include transfers, of course, for both brands. That's part of what's included. I know a lot of our competitors don't include those. But even if you're booking with Scenic or Emerald and you're not doing the air with us, provided you put it in the record, we know about it, and your clients are coming in. Typically, they need to come in the day of departure we will do the complimentary transfers for them as well. It just make sure we know that up front so we can make sure we've got the right vehicle, et cetera, and that they're, everything works. But we are happy to do it that way. But yes, air is there.
Oh, that's fabulous. One of our agents wants to know if there are videos of these brands that they can show their clients. Where can they get videos?
There definitely are. In fact, I would definitely suggest, first of all, you can go to YouTube, and there's a lot on there. We've got a Scenic and a Emerald page. So you'll see a lot, what do you call it? Yeah, YouTube page. So you'll see a lot of them on there. But if you can feel free to reach out to your BDM too, because they can send you links. They're typically Dropbox links, but they can send you links or YouTube links. They'll be happy to send them. I know I do a lot. In fact, I have two tomorrow to an agent who asked me. So we can send you help with those too. We've got a number of them. There are different kinds. And when you go to the Eclipse one, by the way, there's a really cool one on there that's it's 6.5 minutes. There's a shorter one. It's about 1.5 minutes, the same one, abbreviated. But it shows the helicopter. It shows a lot of different things. And then there's one that's about 2 minutes that will show you all the dining and public spaces. Just a really cool one. All these, it just goes right through the ship. And then please watch this one. It's with Guillermo, our culinary director. It's about a 2-minute showing some of the creations he's going to make and a little of his history. So yes, there's a lot of images, Emerald videos as well, whatever you like, anything that you think we can help you with to get to your clients. That's what we're all about.
Fantastic. A question about the e-bikes. Is there ever a problem with more people wanting to use an e-bike than the ships have e-bikes on them?
Well, that's a very good question. I would never say never, but it's very, very rare, to tell you the truth. We've got 30 on the ships. We don't have them, but with 30 on every ship in the Rhine-Main. We don't have, and not just the Rhine-Main, in France too. We don't have them in Portugal, only because in Portugal, the topography just isn't conducive to using those bikes, nor the tailor-made device, that whisper piece I said. So those are not in Portugal. But rarely do we ever need to, because we offer so many excursions, to tell you the truth, and a lot of people just don't want to ride a bike. So there are so many other things to do that we rarely need more bikes. We can always get more regular bikes. We can't get more e-bikes, but if we need extra bikes, we can get those. But it's very, very rare. I've never heard of it, to tell you the truth, that we've needed more bikes.
Okay, that's good news.
And Emerald, by the way, has only regular. Emerald has bikes too. They're just the regular bikes. They don't have the. You have to actually pedal.
Some people may want to do that. You don't know.
Exactly.
Can you talk a little bit about the demographics, age-wise and country-wise, on the ships?
Well, you mean age-wise? Just generally across the board with scenic guests. Our age, just so you know, too, 12 years is the youngest. We rarely get families, by the way, just because a lot of kids, I don't think, would be too interested in seeing castle after castle. So we don't get a lot of families or children, small children. But Emerald is basically around 50 to 55. Scenic, is about 50 to 55 on up. But again, somebody could be 30 or 25 and absolutely love Scenic too. So and Emerald, just because it's lower in price, tends to be a little lower in age. The Eclipse is all over the map. The same thing. It just depends on what clients would want to do. As far did that answer it? I'm not sure. Then again, the makeup of the guests we don't get many Europeans, and they're primarily English speaking because Scenic is an Australian company. So again, by the vast majority, it's either Aussies and Kiwis. Then the next contingent would be Americans and Canadians, and then the balance would be Brits. That's basically what you have on board. And then again, the Eastern European crew, who all speak fluent English, of course.
Okay, and for the passengers who may want to bring a teenager or somebody over the age of 12, are there any cabins that hold more than 2 people?
Unfortunately not, nor on the Eclipse too. If you have more than 2 people with you, you would need to get a separate cabin.
Okay, and can you talk a little bit? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. That just prompted me to tell you too, because I get asked fairly frequently about handicap facilities. Handicap, we basically have a handicap for both. We do have a handicapped cabin, but wheelchair-bound people, unfortunately, river cruises are not conducive to that, only because of cobblestones, getting on and off the ship, etc. Having said that, though, we will allow guests to bring on a wheelchair, provided that we've seen the specs on it first, so we can make sure it's the right size, etc. And then from that point on, when it's on the ship, the guest has to, take care of it, etc., and handle it completely. But the cabin that are handicapped accessible, they're basically the location of the ship, so they're close to the elevator, and they have the railings. So that's kind of about the extent of it, just so you have an idea. But we do, try to help as much as we can in that regard. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, actually, that was my next question about
Oh,
handicap accessible. And I also want to just tell our agents who don't know that getting off of a riverboat is often a challenge for someone who needs a wheelchair. If you don't know whether you're going to be traversing over other boats tied up. So just keep that in mind if you have clients who need a wheelchair to get off the boat. Do you offer fundraising cruises?
I've never heard of such a thing. What do you actually mean by that?
I think what she means is a cruise where you can add on to the fare, and part of the fare goes to a charity or a fundraiser.
I'd have to check. I've never heard of such a thing, to be honest with you. So off the top, I would say no. But having said that, I hate saying no if I don't fully know. So the only thing I would suggest, whoever asked the question, or if you want to know, maybe to just call our res office and ask, because they would probably know. But I've never heard of such a thing, to tell you the truth.
Okay, and what about another agent wants to know if you do wedding groups, any special accommodations for post-wedding cruises?
We've done so many groups and of all kinds, to tell you the truth, and I personally have not had a wedding done or a wedding group, but that doesn't mean we haven't. Again, something like that, all I can encourage you, because I don't want to mislead you, I don't want to lead you to think that we don't. I can't imagine why we wouldn't. A typical good group size of us is anywhere from 20 to 40, in that range, but it could be like I said, the smallest group is 10. So please, whomever asked that question, just please reach out to either to our group department or to res or to a BDM to let me know, and I'll be happy to get back to you with a good answer on that.
Okay, great. And we have an agent asking specifically who her BDM is. I want to just repeat what Tom said, that you can go to the Scenic USA website, and all the BDMs for all the geographical areas are listed there.
If you want to just tell me where that person is.
Southern California.
That would be Mark Jeanette, and he is awesome. Mark Jeanette, unfortunately, I don't have this. It would be Mark.Jeanette, JUNETTE, MARK.Jeanette at scenicusa.com. He's been with the company a little longer than me. He's a true pro. He's awesome. You'll love him.
Okay, and we'll wrap up the questions with the question that many agents have asked, and that is, how can agents get onto the Scenic Emerald ships? Do you have fam trips, agent rates? What are the arrangements we can make?
We do both. We have we don't have any FAMs running at the moment. Typically, we do a FAM for each brand in the spring and the fall. And with my new boss, Rob Huffman, who's great, by the way, he joined us about, I think, 10 months ago. He's been adding more and more FAMs. He's a very strong proponent of FAM trips. So I don't have any at the moment, but again, reach out to your BDM. They can, we typically try to keep lists of good agents. We're always trying to get people on who are selling river cruises. Also, though, we do have agent rates. And again, reach out to your BDM. They vary, but I haven't looked at the rates lately, but in a ballpark, they're roughly, for an 8-day sailing with Scenic, roughly in a ballpark 1,000 to 1,100, but again, that includes tips, transfers, etc. So they're very, very reasonable. And typically, I know with our FAM trips, they have ranged from anywhere from $495, $795 for either brand, Scenic or Emerald. So they're, again, not counting the air. But we're trying to do more and more, because I agree, it's a very good question. I'm glad you asked, because most of my bookings come from agents who have been on us and have passed the word, been our great Pied Pipers. So we need to get you on the ship. And so just make it, what I would suggest, please, just keep don't be shy about it. Just keep every once in a while, reach out to your BDM, just a reminder, because again, top of mind, unfortunately, we keep a list, but if you're showing that you're very interested and you've got it, you can make a case why it would be beneficial to get on, that you're looking to compare us with the others who you've been on or something like anything like that. We want to know because we want it to work for both of us. So please let us know.
Fantastic. I'll close with a comment one of our agents made, which is that she said, "I'm passing this along to everyone." So, Tom, that's a testament to not only how spectacular these products are, but how great you were in
Well, thank you.
all the information you just gave us.
Well, I just want to say one last thing quick
Sure.
before we go. Again, as you know, I've mentioned I've been with the company 4 years, and to tell you the truth, I've been, with Alive, hit 19 years with Air New Zealand and worked for a number of really nice companies. I've been very fortunate. One thing I like about Scenic and Emerald, we're owned by the same company, is that it's a small hierarchy of management. It's the real deal. We take a look at things. We know there's issues with different things on both sides, but I take pride in working for a company that I believe has integrity, and I can tell you this company definitely does. We try to make things right. We don't try to nickel and dime. We look at what the issues are and try to make you look good, so that you go out and want to sell us and bring back more clients. So I'm in Chicago. If I can do anything, by all means, don't hesitate to let us know. Even if you've got a client sitting in front of your desk, when you're calling us, you're calling our cell phones. Don't be shy about it because we know you don't know that much about us probably. So if we can help you walk through a booking or get over a hump of something, please use us in that way. We're more than happy to help.
Well, that's fantastic. And I know everyone is interested in finding out more about these products now, and you did a great job. Our host today has been the Scenic Group, and our speaker was Tom Van Dorn, Business Development Manager, Midwest. Tom, again, thank you. This was excellent, and I know we all learned so much about these two brands.
Well, thank you, Sandy. Appreciate it. Take care, and thank you again, everyone. Have a nice afternoon.
And I'm going to add my thanks again to our agents for taking time out of your day to join us today. I know you got a lot out of this. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.